What's going on, friends? Farley here, and I'm going to be doing a contest video tonight for none other than Mike, aka Metal Mickey. He's having a 500 subs contest, and yeah, it's one of my favorite channels, one of my favorite dudes. Tells it like it is. Discovered his channel when I had my first channel, so it's probably been, I think, maybe two or 3 years. I think more like 3 years now. Total with my old channel and my channel now. I think I've been on, I think this May is 3 years for me. I think. I'm bad at math and I have a terrible memory. But I subscribed to him back when he had his own original name, his real name as his channel name. And have been with him ever since. And just stand-up dude, great collection. Started out when I first came on, he was doing vinyl. Sorry, if you hear some noises, it's Pup has a lid to a drink, and she doesn't play with her toys, but she'll play with anything that falls on the floor. But so when I first subscribed to him, he was doing vinyl, and then he switched to CDs, and now he's doing like a mixture of CDs and vinyl. So, yeah. Love his channel, love his content, and yeah, congrats on the subs, bro. So he's got a contest going, and so I want to get in on it, but also not make this video too very long. So I'm going to jump into the questions right now. So first off, name a band that you thought would get bigger than they ever did. So basically, it's a band you like that you thought would kind of, you know, grow and get a huge fan base or whatever, but for whatever reason they didn't. And I go with Son Volt. So Son Volt is like a Americana alternative country band that grew out of the ashes of Uncle Tupelo. Uncle Tupelo was this band with two vocalists, and they both played guitar. One was Jeff Tweedy, one was Jay Farrar, and they broke up. And they each formed a band. Wilco with Jeff Tweedy and Son Volt with Jay Farrar. And I told everybody I thought Son Volt had better music, which they do, better lyrics, but for some reason Wilco caught fire and Son Volt never did. And I told everybody Jeff Tweedy gets all the notoriety, but Son Volt has all the talent. And that is the truth. I'm not a fan of Wilco. I'm not a fan of Jeff Tweedy's narcissistic personality. Jay Farrar is much more down to earth. And to be honest with you, kind of glad he didn't blow up. You know, I think it's cool to have some bands that not a lot of people know about. You know, it's not overplayed on the radio. So Son Volt is the answer to that. Next, name a band that got bigger than you ever thought they would. And this isn't, you think the band sucks, but for whatever reason, you thought the band would not become as big as they did. Weezer. Now, when the Blue album, the self-titled album came out, it got airplay for a couple of songs, Sweater Song, and then, what was the other song that got a lot of play? Buddy Holly. But then, they came out with Pinkerton. And everybody just dropped. You didn't hear anybody talk about Weezer after Pinkerton. So I'm like, so they got kind of big, you know, got some rotation. And then they released Pinkerton, which to me is a fantastic album, but they did not get big at all after Pinkerton. Matter of fact, I think their album sales went down, concert attendance went down, and then they released the album after Pinkerton and they just went totally pop, and they really took off then. And these are the only two albums by Weezer I will listen to. Although they have a new album of cover songs, a lot of you have probably seen their version of Toto's Africa, which I think is a great cover, but they've got some other covers on there that I'd like to check out. And actually if I like it, I may pick it up. I think it's called the Till album or something, but it's all covers. And so I'm kind of excited to hear that. But after Pinkerton, I thought, oh, that's the last you'll hear of Weezer. And then the next album came out, and they blew up. They were everywhere. All right. Name an album that, you hear my voice crack? Name an album that reminds you of something like a happy memory. This is the Pogues, Red Roses for Me, which came out in 1983. The time that I remember most listening to this is college. And I had a buddy that came from northern Los Angeles to go to college where I went. And me and him got to be really good friends. And we would get teetotaling, pissed drunk to this album, to really all the Pogues albums. The Pogues, the Waterboys, Saw Doctors. We would just drink and we would go to shows. And it was just, it was a time back in the 90s when I was in college. And I hung out with so many different people I'd never, like from different walks of life I'd never hung out with. I went to high school in the sticks in the country, so in college I met a lot of people that, that introduced me to all these different bands and books, and just a huge time of discovery. But what I remember most is not really caring about politics or what's going on in the world. All we cared about was, of course we did our schoolwork and all that in college, but was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, getting drunk, listening to records, going to football games, whatever. And I just remember the guy that I shared a dorm room with was huge into Tupac. And so we would have parties. And so you'd have all these girls and stuff. And he would put on like Tupac or Biggie or whatever. They'd all be dancing. Well, it was my stereo. So he would play a CD and then I would play a CD. And everything would absolutely stop because I would be throwing on the Pogues or some old metal or punk. And so they'd end up taking the party somewhere else. And so it would just be me and my friends. Yes, the Pogues are not known for being that popular in the States or being hip with the college crowd. But we enjoyed it. And we would, like I say, we went and saw them, the reunion concert when they came. But back then, in college, Shane MacGowan was kicked out of the Pogues. And so he came with another band, Shane MacGowan and the Popes, Popes. And we went and saw them, and we met them, and met the band, met Shane, and just a great time. Just, college was just not caring about stuff as much, and just having fun, and letting go, and sowing your wild oats, and meeting people from different avenues of life that you may not have ever have met had you not gone to college. So, next. Sorry, that's making it a little bit longer than I thought, so I'm going to try and hurry it up. Name an album you haven't heard all the way through. So most of my albums I've listened to all the way through at least once. Most of them more than that. But I was going through my records trying to find one, and I don't think I've even put this album on. This is April Wine, The Nature of the Beast. And the reason why is I have their other album, I can't think of the name of it, with the car on the front. But anyway, not important. And I think I listened to that, and it didn't click with me, so I don't think I've ever listened to this album. So, if you sent this to me, BCLT, my apologies. But I did listen to the first album, didn't dig it, and so I think not only have I not heard side 2 or whatever of this, I don't think I've heard any of the songs off that album. And finally, Mike Love, question number 5. I've talked to Mike away from YouTube, through Facebook. I wish he lived closer. Him being over in Snecky Yeet, or whatever the town is, or maybe that's the road. But being over, in the UK makes it a little bit hard for us to hang out. But I do talk to him, through Facebook Messenger every so often. Love our conversations. We talk about a lot of stuff. But one thing we do share is a passion and love for animals, and specifically dogs. And so question number 5 is just a bonus. Show an album with the dog on the cover. And I've got to show my Georgia Bulldogs National Championship album. This album came out in 81, I think. Yes, 1981, out of Nashville, Tennessee. It's an ode to the Bulldogs. They won the national championship that year. And so they released this album, and it's just, every song is about the Georgia Bulldogs. So, Thank God I'm a Georgia Dog, which is sung to Thank God I'm a Country Boy. What it is it's just remakes of old songs, but with lyrics about Georgia football instead of whatever. So, anyway, yeah. So, love this album, man. This takes me back to my childhood right here. So I was 6 when they won the national championship, but I can remember this day my dad and how excited he was. So, all right, Mike, Metal Mickey, congratulations on your subs, man. Love your content, you know that. Consider you a great friend, and so here's to many more years of us talking and hanging out and talking about music or whatever. Hope your channel continues to grow, and yeah, thank God you're around, man. Take care. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.